you have to. Hello, how's everybody? What I'm going to do is I have this. Today was really busy. I had so many things to do. I also had a class, a Spanish class that I take. But while I was at work today, I was thinking about this YouTube that I'm doing now. It's getting kind of cold. I guess. I mean, we know it's. I mean, I know it's getting close to December, so I better put this jacket on because we have heat, but it's just getting nice. It gets really nice, and then it gets cold. So you don't know what the weather's gonna be like. So my boss told me to be careful. Anyway, I'm being careful. There's something on here I really like. Sorry, I switched it up. So this one is gonna be on underground. Underground. Is it underground? Remember when, I don't know if they do it now, but when I was coming up, they used to, Jehovah Witnesses used to always talk about underground. So I'm going to talk about this underground thing because it's very important. About how I felt. I have to do things all the time because I work every day, and I have so many things going on. I have to do my YouTubes too, so I have to. I want. This one is an important YouTube, so I want to make sure that I get it out. Okay. So. We used to say underground was like if we go underground, if they always said if something happened to the governing body, we have to go up underground or something like that. And I was thinking about how I felt the underground was when I was, because we're going through the boxes about my life, about like everyone should, I think, about being more myself, one person, instead of saying, oh, I was Jehovah's Witness back then, now I'm an ex-Jehovah's Witness. I want to clean it up and just like say, well, this is how I was, even though I didn't agree with this and I didn't agree with that. So when I when I was thinking about the underground, I was saying, what I thought about the underground, it was so sad because the only thing I was thinking about is that we're going underground. And it's funny because when you're a Jehovah's Witness, when I was a Jehovah's Witness, a lot of us, most of us, except for the smart Jehovah's Witnesses, ex-Jehovah's Witnesses that can figure out everything, and they be figuring it out, and they figure it out, and they do it intellectually, which is great, but I couldn't do that. So I was thinking about what I used to think underground was. I never even put two and two together. The only thing I said, oh, they say that we might go underground and we have to do this and we have to do that. Okay. Which I had not a clue. I couldn't connect to what would be underground. Why would everybody be against us or whatever? So I pretty much was limited as far as what underground was. I'm sorry. But now I have a greater understanding of what I feel it was back then. So because I'm doing these boxes, I can actually say, oh, this is how it was back then. Okay, that's another reason why it's good. Because I was saying to myself, we were already underground. Okay? Why do I say, as a Jehovah's Witness, I was already underground? Because we lived as if it was about us. It was about the Jehovah's Witnesses, okay? Everyone was against us. And that's pretty much how we were my whole life as being a Jehovah's Witness. It's like my family. They feel like everybody's out to get them. I mean, they're the ones that are pretty much self-sustained, I think it is. to where you have this religion or whatever cult, and they feel that they're self-sufficient, like they and that's how I'm thinking about how I felt the Jehovah's Witnesses were. Like they could do anything, like they could survive by themselves, okay? And that's pretty much what they put in your mind, is if they are self-sufficient, they can survive without anyone else in the world. And that pretty much sums up the fact that they are underground. They were already underground. Because you have everybody, most in the religion and who stay in the religion, feel that they're self-sufficient. I hope I'm using that word right. Feeling that they can survive without anyone else. I mean, they actually survive without anyone else, but it's not true. I mean, it's not true. I mean, now I can see how much it's not true. And they would still feel that they would have to be underground. Like, I don't know, maybe they think they're underground right now. But is it really true? It's not really true, because they need other people. They need society in order to continually exist. I mean, they're not like the first century Christians. I mean, they were self-sufficient. I mean, they were how can I say? They were not accepted at all in society. So they had to create underground society, okay? And that's what Jehovah's Witnesses are acting as if they're self-sufficient and no one understands them. But that's not true either, because everybody treats them very well. It's freedom of religion too, which is something that they don't talk about. They do have freedom of religion. So what is this underground? So they actually live in an underground. So I would have to say, not live in an underground, but they live in an what kind of society? They live in a underworld. Okay, it's an underworld, because I study. I just like study and see how things are happening and stuff like that. And there's an underworld. They have people who create underworlds, to where, as they say, this is wrong, and this is wrong, and this is wrong, and this is wrong. And instead of saying, well, how can I do it? Especially if you believe in God, you can say, well, God, what can I do to help, and to help, and to help society or something like that. Only they don't think that way. They think that, okay, well, society is this, let's make our own society and of people, okay? But it could be true. I mean, it could happen. I mean, you can make your own society, but what are you going to do wrong, okay? And what Jehovah's Witnesses have done wrong is they created a lie, because it's not true. I mean, it's not true that they don't need other people. And they do need other people. So what I'm saying is that they live in an underground society. Okay? To where the only people that they trust are they themselves. And then I was also thinking, well, is that true? I mean, can you really trust just those who are in the Jehovah's Witnesses? And I was also thinking back about my relationships and how much I couldn't really speak about to my friends the things that I were doing wrong. If you want to know about the things I was doing wrong, you have to go to the videos. I put everything down. So I'm not going to go get into it. Like when I was doing something wrong, there was nobody in the society that I could talk to because they would tell, and then I would have to go through a judicial meeting. But it wasn't just me. I remember when I had a roommate, and one time he was with his girlfriend, and he did not come home. He did not come home. You know, for a day or so. You know, you have to be home, especially if Joe Witness and you have a girlfriend. So I knew he was with his girlfriend. So I don't remember why, but I knew. And his mother called. And his mother called and asked for him, and I said, he's not here. And she said, when is he coming in? Excuse me. And I told him, anyway, just long story short, I think she called like 2 or 3 times, and I said, he's not here. So about a day later or 2 days later, I walk in from work, and he's sitting in a chair, and he goes, why'd you tell my mother that I wasn't here? And I go, because you weren't here. And he goes, yes, I was. He goes, next time you have to give me her number or something like that. I don't know what he said. But anyway, I caught on, but I wasn't the type of person to tell, you know. I just wasn't that type. That type of Jehovah's Witness. So I just took the blame. So he told his mother that I didn't give him the phone or something that I can't remember. Anyway, the blame went on me. So I didn't say anything because I know what he was doing. And I wasn't about to go tell the elders or anything like that. It was none of my business. You know, I felt. So anyway, what I'm trying to say is he could not be honest with me. He couldn't say, you know, like, you know, I was with my girlfriend and we did such and such and we did such and such. So is that really a real friendship? No, it's not really a real friendship. I couldn't express to him, my friend, I mean, I wasn't really doing anything wrong, but how I felt about certain things, you know. I couldn't say it because I knew the governing body had to do something with it. So that's what I would call an underground society. And that would be an underworld because they're living in an underworld society to where they have their people thinking that they can exist without society. They can form their own society without any outside help. Okay, it's just like it's just like, you know, they were telling us which movies to watch, but in order for them to tell us that this is bad, they would have had to see it for themselves. Like I told you one time, like Fantasia, okay? It's a cartoon and Beethoven music. And I had snuck to go to New York anyway, just for music. And I stayed overnight, and I stayed in this hotel, and I wanted to go to the movies. It was in New York, and it was called Fantasia, and I just wanted to go see it. So I went in, and the only thing I could remember was, I'm almost sure I told the story, but this is in a different context, and was about magic. They said don't see it because it's magic, and they even had like a picture of what it looked like, and I couldn't help but remember that in, I think it was the Awake, yeah, in the Awake magazine in the back. And in the cartoon, the broom got up and started dancing or whatever, and I felt so guilty. I walked out of the movie. And I talked to an ex-Jehovah's Witness friend that, I don't know where he's at now. I always meet Jehovah's Witness friends, and I want to keep them, and then something happens. So I was talking to him. He goes, that happened to me too. My family, he was disfellowship. He got disfellowship, the one I'm talking about. And he said my family went to a movie, and they kissed in the movie, something like that, and the whole family had to get up and leave. They all got up and leave. So that's what I mean. That's an underworld to where you go by these rules that are only in this small society. It's an underworld. And you don't know what's happening in the world because only these group of people adhere to, these certain rules and regulations. But it's not real, because in order to do it, you have to like shut out the whole important world. Okay? So in actuality, like I said before many times, the world has to help you exist, to live in this underworld. So this one is definitely about the fact that Jehovah's Witnesses are living in an underworld. This helps me to realize now more how to deal with this problem of my family who are in an underworld, to where they don't know how I'm existing. I mean, I'm cut off. The only thing they know is to cut me off because I don't fit in with their society. And one good point I want to say is you just have to keep going with it. You can't stop. I mean, like, I always think about my brother still, even though I told you a lot of times I'm going to forget it and stuff like that. I still have a brother, a full brother, because we have half brothers and sisters. Even though we grow up, I always say this, we grew up like all half, like whole brothers and sisters. But I have a whole brother, and a whole sister, and they both are like, I never hear anything from them, and I think it's helping me to go back because I learned about the underworld, how not that I believed in the underworld, but it's something that it's more a concept that I could understand them more. Not that I really want to understand them, but it helps me to cope with the situation that I'm in now, And you don't get over it. I don't think that you should get over it, because you don't know what's going to happen, And it's sad, but technology goes on, and they still try and act as if they're acting as if, because I know the governing body knows about the real world. They have to continually to act as if that it's only them. They're the only ones that exist. I mean, that they exist. They can exist without anyone else, which is a lie. And that's what I wanted to say as far as, the things that's helping me be stronger as an ex-Jehovah Witness, knowing that they're in an underworld, you know what I mean? And you pretty much can't do anything. And just keep going. I mean, we have each other, and we're not in the underworld. Oh, there's one more point I wanted to bring out. As far as, I think they're going to keep going deeper and deeper into the underworld like they are. And the only people that can really help them is an ex-Jehovah Witness. And that's the honest truth. I mean, I think the only people that can really help the Jehovah Witnesses to come out or whatever and help them when they get out is ex-Jehovah Witnesses. So we have to stick together so that when they come out, and I know they come out, they pretty much come out by themselves, or some kind of way. And we have to be here. So I'm saying we're in a good place. And I'm almost sure God has made it so that we have these YouTubes. I almost said Jehovah, but I meant Jehovah. I mean, like, that's what I'm saying. When I say it, because it's so inside my mind, sometimes I say that, you know what I mean? But I definitely mean God. And I'm saying it as saying in place of God. I'm not, when I make a mistake and I say Jehovah, I don't say for his name. I say it as God, you know what I mean? I mean, like not a mistake. Yeah, I guess you can say something like a mistake. Instead of saying God, I say Jehovah. But I'm not saying Jehovah God. I'm saying just Jehovah because I was taught that way since I was a little kid. I only do it sometimes, but I don't cut anything out of my YouTubes. If I make a mistake or something like that, and my father knows that, I know for a fact that he wants to be called God. He does not want you to call him Jehovah. I know that. I can't tell you how much I know, but he wants you to say God. He doesn't want any other name. So thank you very much. And it's always so beautiful to talk about him because he's such a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so that's a beautiful closing, thinking about the Father. Bye-bye.